I don't want my daughter to catch your stupidity, so please stay away from her. If you really want to see her, start spending $1,000 a month. I received an unexpected call from Catherine, my eldest son's wife. Picking up the phone, I was greeted by her mocking tone and a high-pitched laugh, which caught me off guard. What do you mean by that? What do I mean? It's clear. You keep forcing yourself on Rachel, and I know it. Catherine mentioned Rachel, our granddaughter, with a sigh. But if anyone should be sighing, it's me. Sure, I see Rachel often, but it's not like I'm the one going to her. She's the one who comes to visit me. Catherine, clueless about this, gets mad at me, calling me a fool. I was infuriated. Alright then, I won't bother you anymore. Catherine probably thought I'd pay $1,000 to see Rachel. The surprise in her voice was evident over the phone. My name is Teresa. I'm 81 years old and live alone. My husband passed away 2 years ago, and I've been living on his inheritance and my pension. I used to be a museum curator and was quite fit, but lately my strength has waned and my legs have grown weaker. I've been considering moving into a care home, but I'm hesitant about the cost and leaving the home I shared with my husband. And there's another reason for my hesitation. Rachel. I have 2 sons, Johnny and Richard. Rachel is Johnny's daughter. Richard and his wife Kelly tried fertility treatments for years but couldn't have children. Kelly is hardworking and sees her job as a hobby, so they've embraced a child-free life positively. I respect Kelly for that. Kelly's health isn't great and she's often hospitalized, so I've been financially helping them. That's why Richard and Kelly are always kind to me, visiting occasionally to look at my husband's memorial photo and help me around the house. That's why Rachel is my only grandchild. She's an only child and unique to me. Rachel seems to like me and has been visiting me on her own since middle school. It's about an hour's train ride from her parents' house, but she doesn't mind the 2-hour round trip and always talks to me with a smile. Rachel is turning 20 this year. I wanted to celebrate it, but then I got that upsetting call from Catherine. I don't understand why Catherine doesn't want me to see her daughter, but there's something I need to say about Catherine. Johnny mentioned marrying Catherine 20 years ago. They were both 33 at the time, a good age for marriage. Johnny, unlike the gentle Richard, has a strong personality, so I was surprised but supportive when he brought Catherine home. Nice to meet you, I'm Catherine. Please take care of me. I'm Johnny's mother, nice to meet you. Catherine offered a brief greeting and sat down. At first, I thought she was just quiet, but then I noticed she was scrutinizing me, which was unsettling. Teresa, do you work? Yes, I work at a museum. I'm quite dedicated. Catherine's expression turned cold after my response. I wondered if I had said something wrong. What about you, Catherine? I was a temp worker, but I'm planning to become a homemaker after marrying Johnny. She said this decisively, and I sensed a strong will in her words. In today's world, it's not unusual for women to become housemakers, so I didn't question it. But Catherine's next words surprised me. A woman's happiness lies in supporting her husband at home. You worked hard outside, but I wonder if your husband was really happy with that. What? I was puzzled by her sudden claim and looked at Johnny. However, Johnny just nodded in agreement with Catherine, as if to say my way of life was wrong. Also, I'm pregnant. Getting married, having a child, and becoming a homemaker is my ultimate dream. Really? I hadn't heard a word about that. Well, it's only natural since it's our first time telling you. Are you, Teresa, perhaps an idiot? Seeing Johnny and Catherine trying to suppress their laughter, I felt like crying, imagining what the future would hold. As I had feared, my relationship with my eldest son and his wife deteriorated after their marriage. Catherine, who believes being a homemaker is the social norm. Teresa, you really are clueless, would often say to me. It angered me to be called naive by a woman the same age as my children, but I refrained from responding childishly. I hoped Catherine would eventually get bored and stop caring about me. But after their child was born, Catherine's attitude worsened. "Teresa, now that we have a daughter, could you give us some money?" "Money? Why?" It was 2 months after Rachel's birth, and I was visiting their house for the first time. It was a Sunday, and Johnny was home. "Well, it's for the child's upbringing. Don't you want to save for your cute granddaughter?" Indeed, child-rearing costs are significant, but shouldn't that be the parent's responsibility? Ugh, that's so like a clueless grandmother. These days, it's common for grandparents to save money for their grandkids. Catherine's matter-of-fact statement gave me a headache. Johnny, sitting next to her, went on about how much financial help his colleagues get from their mothers, and how TV shows discussed normal saving amounts for grandchildren. I wasn't convinced by their argument, but tired of being ridiculed and strongly denied. Only a little, I eventually caved. My agreement was my downfall. "Thank you," they immediately told me the bank details, grinning. Looking at the sleeping Rachel, I convinced myself. It's for her. Convincing myself was all I could manage. Hesitant to discuss it with my husband, I decided to send about $200 a month to my eldest son and his wife from my allowance. If $200 meant I could happily see Rachel, it seemed like a small price to pay. For a while, everything went smoothly, but every time I went to see Rachel, "I want you to increase the support," Catherine repeatedly asked. "Why do you need so much?" "I think it's a sufficient amount for child rearing." "Well, we want more children. For that, we need money, right? Teresa, you'd be happier with more grandchildren, wouldn't you?" "That's true, but..." "Then just increase it quietly. Unlike me, you work, so it's just a small amount for you, right?" Catherine, who had mocked my job, now conveniently used it to her advantage. Yet, when I firmly said, "I can't do more than this," she tutted. Such a terrible attitude from someone receiving money. I couldn't see Catherine as a fellow human anymore. Apparently upset that I wouldn't increase the support, Catherine stopped letting me see Rachel. "Isn't it too much to not let me see her even though I'm giving you child support?" And I give a lecture. "We never promised to let you see her just because you give money." She refused. While we made no such promise, her attitude after taking the money was too much. Even when I consulted Johnny, Catherine decided that, so there's nothing I can do. He was unhelpful. Alone, I cried quietly at home. But my life began to change when Rachel started middle school. I hadn't seen Rachel for a long time, but one day she came to my house after arguing with her mother. I only knew Rachel as a baby and didn't recognize her at first, but when Rachel said, "Grandma, help me," I instantly knew it was her. Rachel had grown into a responsible and serious girl, often clashing with her parents due to their different natures. I was surprisingly moved that she had grown up so well, considering her parents. Both my husband and I warmly welcomed Rachel. Having both retired, our life at home was relaxed, but Rachel's visits made our days even more enjoyable. "Mom said the other day, a woman is happiest when she's married. But I want to work hard and travel the world like you, Grandma." Catherine always says that, doesn't she? Rachel seemed frustrated by Catherine's traditional views, sighing as she ate the cookies I offered. "I feel much more comfortable here than at my own home. That makes me happy. You're always welcome here." If Rachel felt comfortable with us, there could be no greater joy. Rachel continued to visit us regularly, keeping it a secret from her parents. And sometimes she would meet my second son and his wife when they came home. Kelly, a career woman, often had lively conversations with Rachel. Rachel actively asked Kelly about her job and whether she enjoyed it, and Kelly responded with joy as if talking to her own child. The moments spent with my husband, my second son and his wife and Rachel, these were the best times. 5 years have passed since Rachel started visiting us, and this year she turns 20. When my husband passed away 2 years ago, Rachel cried loudly. He would have been so grateful to be so loved. Over 2 years, both Rachel and I recovered from the loss, and Rachel returned to her usual cheerful self. Just as I was thinking of getting a birthday gift for Rachel, who was turning 20, my phone rang. Hello? Is this Teresa?" It was unusual for Catherine to call me. With a bad feeling, I asked what was up. Yes, it's been a while. What's the matter? I hadn't seen much of Catherine since the child support issue, except at family events. Johnny also stopped coming home, but I didn't want to see them since they always ridiculed me, so it worked out. However, I felt uneasy about Catherine suddenly calling. As soon as Catherine confirmed I had answered, she spoke rapidly and mockingly. "Teresa, I heard you've been seeing my daughter often. Don't meet her without permission. If you want to see her, send $1,000 a month." I was shocked to hear her mocking laughter. "What do you mean?" "I know you're forcing yourself on Rachel." Catherine mentioned Rachel and sighed, but I was the one who wanted to sigh. Yes, I frequently saw Rachel, but she was the one who came to see me. I was furious at Catherine for jumping to conclusions without knowing this. Is that so? Then I'll have nothing to do with her. Catherine probably thought I'd pay $1,000 to see Rachel. I could hear her surprise over the phone, but I wouldn't back down. I couldn't bear Catherine's insults and her getting her way. Is that all? Goodbye, then. Wait! Ignoring what Catherine might have wanted to say, I hung up decisively. Catherine's anger was burning in her heart. After that call, I went to the bank and canceled the automatic child support payments to my eldest son and his wife. Rachel was turning 20, and I didn't feel like continuing the payments after being spoken to like that. Instead, I decided to increase the support to my second son and his wife. Kelly's health hadn't been great, and she might need to be hospitalized again soon. I was more than willing to help them financially, especially now that I'd be sending less money to my eldest son and his wife. For several months after that, Rachel didn't visit. She was probably stopped by her mother. I loved Rachel and missed her, but I disliked the idea of begging Catherine. I could only hope that Rachel would eventually become independent and return to me. Then, one day, I got another call. Lately, only my second son and his wife called, so I was surprised to see Catherine on the display. But having a guess of what Catherine might say, I calmed myself and answered. "Teresa, finally." As soon as I answered, Catherine spoke as if I was at fault for not picking up sooner. I sighed silently at her usual behavior. "What is it, Catherine?" I wanted to complain about her calling on a Sunday afternoon, but I restrained myself. "It's not just whatever. I went to the bank yesterday, and for the past few months there's been no child support." Just as I expected, Catherine had finally noticed that I hadn't been paying the $200 since Rachel's 20th birthday. Well, Rachel is 20 now, so I thought the child support was over. "What? We never made such a promise. Child support is needed for life." "Oh, really? But what are you using that child support for?" "We're using it for Rachel's education and living expenses until she gets married and starts her own family, of course." Catherine barked as if what I said was absurd. But I knew that my eldest son and his wife were not using the child support for Rachel. Rachel had told me when she last visited my house that she was earning her own tuition through part-time work. Her mother had threatened her. "We can't afford your tuition, so you have to work." Of course, Rachel, who always wanted to be independent, didn't mind working part-time. But hearing Rachel's words made me furious, realizing that the money I sent every month was not being used for her. "That's a lie. You're just using all of it for yourselves. I heard it from Richard. Johnny said, it's great playing with Mom's money." "What?" Catherine seemed shocked and her voice faltered on the phone. "But at least I'm using the money for Rachel. I have to support her until she gets married. She's so stupidly serious. Studying and working hard as a woman is pointless. I always tell her that happiness for a woman is getting married and becoming a homemaker. Teresa, you're so out of touch. You don't give her any proper advice. Now she talks about wanting to work and travel the world." Catherine raged louder than ever. I instinctively pulled the phone away from my ear. Seeing this, a person who had been watching me took the phone to talk. "Are we still on that topic? Isn't it time to stop? Aren't you the one who's out of touch?" "Huh?" Catherine was startled by the sudden voice of her child. "Rachel, why are you there? Whether I'm here or there, I can't relax at home. You were told not to go to Grandma's." Rachel frowned at her mother's words. Another person took the phone. Hi, Catherine, it's Kelly. I was just having coffee with Rachel. Indeed, I was relaxing at home with my second son, his wife, and Rachel. Rachel had been forbidden by her mother from visiting me, but she couldn't stand it anymore and came to see me after her part-time job. My second son and his wife just happened to be home, so we all decided to have coffee. Rachel was enviously asking Kelly about her job and how they spent their weekends. Unaware of this, Catherine called at this awkward time. So, what do you mean by saying that studying and working is pointless for women? I've been working as a full-time employee for decades. Kelly challenged Catherine. For a moment, Catherine seemed at a loss for words, but then responded dismissively. Poor thing, working so hard. Your husband's salary must not be enough. Did you choose the wrong partner? Kelly glanced at Richard. They looked at each other seriously and nodded. No, Catherine, no need to worry about us. We're quite wealthy thanks to both of us working. We have enough to go on nice trips every week. Oh, but don't ask us for money. You've already received plenty from Teresa, right? What? I could imagine Catherine's flustered expression. Rachel looked at Kelly and laughed mockingly. I'm sure she's happy to be able to release the stress her mother has been telling her to have. I'm really happy working hard. Having money brings peace of mind and freedom, right, Rachel? Yeah, I want to work like Aunt Kelly. Marriage can wait. Sorry, Mom. Rachel, what are you saying? It's fine. It's my life. Mom always says Grandma's out of touch, but Mom's way more so. Nowadays, it's normal for women to work as they wish. Catherine was speechless, hit with the truth by her daughter. I took the phone back and addressed Catherine. So, all the women in our family are what you call out-of-touch fools. So, we probably won't agree with you, and please don't interfere with our lives. Also, I won't give you any more money. After all, you wouldn't want to touch money earned by a fool who's out of touch, right? After I calmly unleashed my pent-up anger, Catherine exploded. Whatever, I don't care anymore. She hung up the phone furiously. I let out a sigh and looked around at everyone smiling. It was ridiculous. Well, it's good to be strong against Catherine. Grandma, Auntie, thank you. No, I'm glad I could convey what Rachel wanted to say. Richard watched us with a laugh, relieved. It was a battle among us women, but Richard was the one who told us about my eldest son and his wife wasting the child support. A sense of accomplishment enveloped the room, having put Catherine in her place. Grandma, sorry I couldn't visit until now. From now on, I won't let Mom stop me, and I'll visit whenever I want. No, it's okay. I should have spoken up to your mom earlier. I'm sure Grandpa would be happy too. I patted Rachel's head, looking at my husband's photo. Pleased that she had grown up so well, unlike her parents. After Rachel and the second son's family left, Catherine stopped calling altogether. She must have been deeply affected by the incident, possibly losing her spirit after being harshly spoken to by her own daughter, but that's just what she needed. At first, Johnny was angry about me stopping the child support, but Richard seemed to have confronted him. Don't interfere with Mom's life anymore, Richard had said firmly, and Johnny gave up. With Catherine's spirit gone, Johnny probably had nothing more to say to me. Initially, the eldest son's family was living on Johnny's income, but he had recently caused a scandal at work and his salary was reduced. That's why Catherine had been so insistent about money. I imagined them living a miserable life now, which felt satisfying. My second son's family returned the money I had helped them with since Kelly's health had improved, and she didn't need to be hospitalized. It's okay, keep it. You might need it for hospital bills in the future. No, we can manage. The insurance should cover hospital expenses. Besides, aren't your legs getting worse? Why not move into a facility? We'll help with the costs. Richard. I was moved to tears by Richard's kindness. Indeed, my legs had been getting weaker, and I had been thinking about moving into a facility, so I gratefully accepted Richard's offer. The care home I moved into was a bit far from my house, but my second son, his wife, and Rachel still visit regularly. I'm very satisfied with my life now. Things didn't work out with my eldest son and his family, but surrounded by my kind second son, his wife, and Rachel, I consider myself fortunate.